support networks. This provides individuals with more opportunities for social comparisons with other individuals facing similar health concerns. This may help shatter perceptions of uniqueness when it comes to coping with health issues, like why me? And then you see that all these other people are dealing with the same issues. And allow individuals to examine their own problems vis-a-vis the issues other group community members are facing. So basically, you just more folks out there, you get access to multiple perspectives as compared to sort of the small group of people that you might be dealing with or getting support from in sort of your traditional face-to-face, just usually depending on friends and family, or even a local support group that, again, might not be nearly as diverse than something that you might find online from folks all over the world dealing with some of the same health issues that you're dealing with. Benefit number 2, and I'm on slide 10. Lack of judgment. And this is, it goes back to all the various things that we talked about last time when we were talking about issues of people who have high communication apprehension and have difficulty disclosing stuff and therefore might feel more comfortable disclosing stuff in an online setting. Which then might go back and actually help them become more communicatively competent in their own face-to-face. So basically this is the idea that sometimes folks can discuss more personal things that might be more difficult to discuss in a face-to-face setting. And part of that is the anonymity. People might, in face-to-face, people are going to know who you are. For the most part, and if it's locally, people you might even know the people. But if you're online, you can use a different name or something like that. So this anonymity allows you or gives you this sort of sense of freedom or liberation to say some things or disclose some things that you would not do in a face-to-face setting. And it also can reduce stigmas if the health condition is actually a visible health condition. And then generally speaking, it reduces communication apprehension for those who have high communication apprehension in face-to-face situations. Again, as I said, self-disclosure might seem less risky because, as we said last time, you might not have sort of the disparaging, disconfirming verbal, nonverbal messages that you might get in a face-to-face setting. So basically, all the various things that we talked about last time are still true here. So we have a sense that people aren't judging us as we might feel in a face-to-face, a social support situation. So again, if the first benefit here is I get more access, different points of view, and more information and all that type of stuff, which might actually improve my relationships, my face-to-face relationships with my friends and my family, because I can get support other ways. And if benefit 2 is lack of judgment, benefit 3 is a sense of similarity. So basically you get this sense of belonging to a larger community because you are, for the most part, communicating with folks who have similar health issues that you do. So you have a larger sense of feeling of a community. And you can, there's a sense of getting validation for your feelings since other folks are also going through the same stuff. And as well as I do. I mean, when you're going through something, whatever it might be, and people might say, I know how you feel. Yeah, whatever. Nobody's ever going to know really how you feel unless they actually go through the same thing. And so you can get sort of real, sort of sincere validation when you are communicating with people who have indeed actually gone through what you have gone through. And also, just this whole idea that mediation social support group, when you're dealing with people who are going through similar things, offers a sense of companionship that can sort of act as a diversion from the problems that you're facing. It says that it can increase an elevated mood and actually can reduce stress. So this whole sense of similarity has a lot of positive things to it. So if one benefit, access to multiple perspectives, another, people aren't judging you because of the sort of the context of anonymity on online communication, and if the sense of similarity is the third benefit, the fourth benefit that we see here, and this is on slide 12, is convenience. And so basically, in a nutshell, sometimes it's hard to find local face-to-face support. I know a lot of hospitals and stuff will have automatic sort of stuff that you can do, but sometimes it is difficult. Sometimes there are sort of ready-made support groups that you can find through the Mayo Clinic or well, there's tons of things. You can just Google support for blah blah blah. You'll find tons of stuff. So it can be more convenient. And also one of the things about it being more convenient is that it doesn't have to be at the same time. It's not like you have a meeting. It can be asynchronous and synchronous. So you can get real-time support, but also delayed support. And there's tons of other little things I'll let you look at. But again, as from the research, they say, and I'm repeating myself strategically so you will remember it, we've got 4 basic general benefits. Access to multiple perspectives, again, within the context of seeking social support through CMC, computer-mediated social support, in particular when we are dealing with some sort of health issues. Access to multiple perspectives. Lack of a situation where there's a lack of judgment. People aren't judging you like they might face-to-face. 3, have a stronger sense of similarity because you're communicating with a lot of other folks out there who are dealing with the same issue that you are dealing with. And it's convenient, so long as you have a computer. Obviously, we talked about the digital divide, which becomes obviously inconvenient. And of course, you still have to pay for everything because all this stuff costs money. But that's what the research says. Now, benefit number 5 is not a specific benefit. This is on slide 13. It's just a bunch of random other ideas, which I think is really, really interesting. So some research has shown when you convey things through writing, like if you're typing something on some sort of support group website, that typing out stuff like that has therapeutic value. And also the whole typing out and doing this stuff textually can put some psychological distance between what you're dealing with, and that can be helpful, and how you are conveying it. You can reflect on what you disclose. So just like anything else, sometimes when you are face to face and you sort of just put on the pedestal there and put on the spot and say, talk. It's difficult, but if you have the time where you can actually figure out what you want to say, you have time to compose it, time to reflect on it and edit it, and that can be helpful. And the last bit was really interesting to me, and this is on the bottom of page 142. Basically, it just said that moreover, recent research suggests the act of sending affectionate messages in support of online exchanges. So if you are sending, I know what you're going through. I'm going through the same thing. You can do it. Blah blah blah. Sending affectionate messages in support of online exchanges is related to reduced total cholesterol levels and cortisol levels. Both cholesterol and cortisol are physiological products of stress, and both have been linked to heart disease and strokes, as everybody knows, among individuals facing long-term stressful situations. The research provides an important empirical link between computer-mediated supportive communication and physical health outcomes, mainly because the argument is it can reduce stress. So lots of benefits, which is really cool. So this is some things, particularly for those of you who are in health communication, to think about. And when we think about the future of all this, you know, how's all this going to look in 10, 20 years? I mean, it's going to be amazing. There are benefits, but whew, the other side, there are also disadvantages. The disadvantages, that's the next slide. The bad stuff, the limitations. Sometimes when you're on these support groups, the short time of membership, so they say sometimes members are on there for like a week, so it's not like you're going to create long-term relationships with these folks. I mean, I suppose you could, but folks come and go, so that can be a problem. Also, lack of immediacy. I forgot I wrote this. As MC Hammer taught us, riffing off of oh my gosh, oh God, Rick James. You can't touch this. So basically, it's hard to hug people online. You can't really do it. And sometimes we need that haptic communication. Haptic communication, which is basically touch. It's a type of nonverbal communication. Is a helpful sort of coping mode of communication. It's a supportive type of communication, and you just can't hug. You can give like a little hug emoticon, but it's not the same as actually touching somebody. So that could be problematic. And also, and there's so much stuff about just all this other antisocial or potential antisocial communicative behavior that can go on. And on the bottom of 143, it's just a whole list, a laundry list of things like off-topic remarks by participants, spam, private tears that people try to use the group community for their own selfish purposes, flaming, as I've mentioned, just sort of, you know, yell sort of through email, yelling at folks or saying stuff so in a very rude way that you probably would not face to face. And there's all sorts of things that can be very problematic about this. One thing, anonymity and also this whole idea of being disembodied, again, remember, it sort of inhibits us. And so we do things that we probably, or say things we might not say face to face, which again can be good or bad depending on the situation. And one of the things that they don't seem to mention here, but I would think is a huge disadvantage, and that sometimes, or a lot of times, you know, depending on what type of advice that you're seeking, and going back to the very nature of what computer-mediated social support is, I mean people are looking for important information, and it's not just sort of emotional support. But sometimes you can get some really stupid, bad advice that's wrong. And so I would think that's something to be very wary of. I see, you know, whenever I, just out of curiosity, you know, if I got a bellyache or something like that in a certain place, like, oh, what's going on right there? I got this thing right there, you know, and you go and you Google, you know, belly pain on upper right quadrant or upper left quadrant or whatever. You get all these people saying all this stuff, oh, I had all this, and I mean, it's just, it can be overwhelming. And some people just don't know what the hell they're talking about, and that's the big problem. Even though you sometimes get doctor's advice through certain things, I mean, sometimes, you know, we should be very wary of random people telling us what we should do when it comes to our health. But I think all this stuff, again, is an important aspect of computer-mediated communication. I'm not saying, I'm actually think it's a huge benefit, these social support type of sites, but I do think we need to be very, very careful about it. Always listen to your doctor, unless your doctor is stupid, and then go get another doctor. And if that doctor is stupid, go get another doctor. Okay. 15, slide 15.